with?
29.
29. It is October 29th, and it is 6:08. I hereby call the Scott County Advisory Plan Commission meeting to order. Could we start with our membership introduction?
Andrew Boswell,
Matt Overly.
Jonathan White, Tom Springston, Randy Julian,
John Hauser.
Gary Green.
Stacy Turner.
Carla Gann.
Thank you. We do not have any adoption of minutes at this time, so we'll move on to the next. We have new business with us today. We have a hearing on an application to move a agricultural zoning to the residential zoning. This meeting will have the public portion, the presenter, the people who wish to have this change will speak first, kind of describe to us as to why they want this, features unique to the property, those kind of things. The second part of that will be anyone who has questions or concerns may address those to members of the board. That public comment, due to the number, we will hold that to 3 minutes or less. After that, we'll hear comments for those who wish to speak in favor of this. The public portion will be closed at that time. We will ask members, as members, we'll ask questions, have discussion amongst ourselves. And then we'll make a motion, one of three types. It might be all three. The first one would be to approve it. If it's successful, this is a 9-person board, even though we have a vacancy, and we'll require 5 yes votes. Anything less than 5, it will not pass. The second motion will be to vote against this. Again, that requires 5. And then the last motion, I'll call that as a neutral motion. And that is not favorable or not for it. It's just kind of, hey, we heard the meeting. Those recommendations will be passed on to the county commissioners, and their final approval will be at the next meeting.
I think. Good. The fifth.
We,
Will that need to be advertised?
yeah, it will
So
be.
probably won't, because we won't have enough time.
Don't have any time. Yeah.
I think we as a board typically have 10 days to get that written findings and recommendation to the commissioners, and then they take it from there and put it on their agenda and advertise it as appropriate.
So it might not be the very next meeting, it might be the meeting after that.
No.
I just want to be sure everyone understands the process. We will make a decision tonight, but the actual final decision as to whether this passes, doesn't pass in some form or fashion will come out of the commissioners meeting. So, I have a case number RZ 0125. Have we met all the legal obligations? The advertisement. Carla, I'm kind of looking at you.
Yes,
The
we
letter
have,
said-
this, I'll confirm with Stacy, but there has been, all the notices have been sent. I do believe we received how many, 2 or 3 written responses, or 2 responses. The advertising, yes, has been done, the posting has been done at the courthouse. And, yes, I think we've got,
I want to pause and thank you for this packet. Do you mind briefly telling us what's in?
What's in the packet?
Yeah,
Well, the first part is the agenda for tonight. Then there is the application that was actually filed by the applicant, the response from the applicant's attorney and their paperwork. And in the application paperwork is also the proof of publication and the proof that they sent the letters to the neighbors, and that their certified numbers on their mailings.
Okay, thank you. And this meeting is being recorded. It's being broadcasted. So we might ask you to speak in a loud voice when we get to that part of that. Who do we have that's presenting this case in front of us? You would come up and identify yourself and,
Of course. My name is Jeff Rocker. I'm the attorney for the applicant, Brianna Osborne Parrish. And I don't know if you need addresses. I'm at 432 Washington Street, Columbus, Indiana. Would you introduce yourself?
I am Brianna Osborne Parrish,
What's your address?
305 West Craig Road, Scottsburg, Indiana.
This is my first time here, so first of all, I'd like to really express my gratitude to particularly Stacy and Carla for all of the hard work they did to put this together. I know that they were put in a bind and a scramble to do that, and I'm so appreciative of the time that they spent. I know it was not easy, and I know this was not their number one priority on their normal week agenda, and I know they made time to do that and to scramble, and I appreciate you all being here on a night that you would rather not have come out in this beautiful weather that we're having. And I will do my utmost to keep things brief. I've put together a packet, which I think is in your stack of materials, and if you don't have a copy of it in front of you, I think Stacy did give you that. And again, appreciate her for that. This, as you recall, this question's been before you before, and at that time it moved forward with a neutral recommendation. We are here to sort of reboot on that request and ask essentially for the same consideration, that this property is best suited for R1 residential. We have a little bit more data than we had last time, and I have put together in what I hope to be a really understandable and easy to follow presentation. And I'm happy to answer any questions, and Brianna can answer more technical questions about their development intent. I know we're here just tonight talking about what color the map should be, but I wanted to make sure that everybody had anything that they needed to have to understand what we're asking about, what we're planning to do with the property. So what I don't know is how you folks like to conduct business. Do you want me to jump into the presentation? All right.
yes, jump in and.
All right. Happy
let's
to
go
do
and
it. We'll go right
we're
into
gonna
it.
dive in off the boat, we're gonna swim ashore, so,
It's perfect. It's a cold night to jump in the water, but let's get it done.
all right.
All right. So if you go to the second page of my presentation, you'll see an overview and aerial of the site. The outlined area on that map is the actual subject property. It looks a little different today because it has had some timbering done on it. But this site has road access. It has linkages for north-south travel. It's our understanding that the east-west road is as good or wider than many of the roads in the county. It's nice and straight, has good visibility. So we think this is a good road that can handle the additional traffic that a subdivision would provide. The features that you can already see from an aerial, some of which make it less than ideal in the world of agriculture in terms of tillable land. About a third of this site was wooded. It has been cut and it has been used for hay in the last year or this year. I was in my former life a builder in Michigan. We did subdivisions after we decided that being dairy farmers was too hard, which I don't think has changed. And some of the features that make this less than ideal for agricultural purposes make it really, really well suited for residential. People like a little topography, people like a little water, people like a little trees, people like to be able to jump on a road and get to their job. So we view this site as being really well situated for a home subdivision. The second slide you'll see, or the third page, I apologize, is a snippet of what we expect the first area of this subdivision to look like. So you'll see that these are decent sized lots. You'll see that they're oriented so that people have some privacy. And again, these are concepts because we know we're to give you a solid concept plan, or a real plat would be putting the cart in front of the horse, in front of the cart, in front of the horse. So we'll be back for all those things in the future, and you guys will have a chance to help us craft this in a way that we feel like meets all of the needs of the community. The next couple slides are just some views of the actual property. Again, showing you sort of the situation that we're at today, what it looks like. Again, those trees in the background provide us some nice privacy. We understand and acknowledge that we are in a rural area. We understand and acknowledge that we are in an agricultural community. And I have represented farmers in everything from dividing lands to doing hog buildings. And we understand that we have to have some level of separation and buffering between farm property and residential property. And we understand that Indiana has laws that protect the rights of farmers to farm. And they don't want people calling them about dust from the combine. They don't want people calling them about the smell of chicken manure. And we are building this with that in mind at every step, to be good neighbors to agricultural neighbors. The next slides you'll see are a couple slides of the first home. This is not in the subdivision technically, but it's a home that's been built by Brianna on this property as an example of what they would expect to be building in the future. This home is nearing completion, and you'll see it's a nice modern construction home, open and airy, and it's intended to be in a market that will serve the community and provide housing for what we hope to be people coming to work in the businesses in Scott County. The next slide you'll see is something that probably doesn't surprise you, that this community has a shortage of housing. And like all the communities, or many communities in Indiana, has a shortage of affordable housing. We will market this, if approved, to meet the needs and the demand of the market. So if the market is demanding mid-tier housing, which we think there is a demand for, then that's what will be built and that's what will be marketed. And so we hope we will be providing some of the need that Scott County has. You folks with your tax dollars paid for a study about housing, and again, not surprisingly, came up with the answer that you folks need quality housing. And we hope to provide a goodly amount of that for you. Here was a quote from that study. Together, we will ensure that Scott County residents have access to achievable, safe, and high-quality housing opportunities for all lifestyles and income levels. So again, we're here today trying to put our money where our mouths are and try to create a portion of that housing that's needed to satisfy what Scott County is looking for. Here on the next page, you'll see 6 bullet points. Those are bullet points that resulted as action items. Here's your marching orders as a county if you want to meet this need. 1, develop a sustainable plan for new housing that protects the area's natural resources and amenities. 2, replace and rehabilitate damaged and neglected housing. Those are the 2 that are they were in the version I have, and those are identified as catalyst projects, which is supposed to be something that's sort of transformative for the area. And we think that we really land squarely on that. The next slide, you'll see 3 boxes. Why we think that this project is consistent with the character of the area. The infrastructure to support a residential subdivision is already in place and on that site. The utilities are already there and on that site. And as you'll see later, we have every single type of utility in the quantities available on site to support a community of this size. And I don't suspect that that's an accident. You know, utilities put their stuff where they need to put it in hoping to be there for the future. Next slide. 1, what's the most desirable use? Well, you've got a study that y'all paid for with your tax dollars that says that you need housing. We want to provide housing. 2, we have sewer, 3-phase electric, fiber optic, a 12-inch water main, and natural gas on site. And having done a lot of development, and you folks hearing a lot of development plans, you probably don't hear that every single time. We think that the natural state of that land today was that it's better for housing than agriculture. Yes, there are areas of that land that could and have been used for agriculture and could and would be able to be used in the future for agriculture. But anywhere that you folks are going to have housing built, it's going to take agricultural land off the market. And so we like to take off land that has some water, take some land out that has some woods that were unbuildable, and try to create an area that's attractive to people, that has some natural buffering features and some natural topography that is attractive to home builders and home buyers. The next one starts out with conservation of property values, beating the dead horse here a little bit, much needed housing. If we put these houses in, those homeowners are going to pay property taxes that are greater than the property taxes generated by that agricultural land today. They are going to buy gasoline. They're going to frequent your restaurants and your stores. They're going to shop for groceries. They're going to open businesses. They're going to do all the things that we hope come with housing and that provide the community lots and lots of benefits. The next slide, last slide. One of the things I want to, again, harp on, because I don't think you can say it enough, we were developing CFO hog buildings in Bartholomew County when the Right to Farm Act was entered. And that protected us as farmers from someone coming in and building a subdivision next to a farm and then complaining that they're next to a farm. So that problem got solved at the state level. And we think that by going into a subdivision in this area with our eyes open, knowing that we have farm neighbors, we can be good neighbors to those folks and provide amenities that the community needs and not be in conflict with agriculture, be in harmony with agriculture, and build in an area that we feel like suits residential, but not at the cost of our farm neighbors. And with that, I'm absolutely happy to answer any questions, and Brianna is as well. She can speak more to the long-term plans, which again, I know you folks will get to hear at length at a plat approval hearing, but we're not opposed to trying to give you our best estimate of what that might look like. Any folks have some questions? I imagine you do.
Well, we'll hold the majority of the questions until we get to that part of the meeting.
Sure.
But if you could kind of fill in what it looks like now, what the initial,
Truly, we haven't decided how much of it we want to develop.
okay,
Right now, it could range anywhere from 100 to 150. It all depends on how much acreage we want to hold back. As it sits right now, we're looking to hold back 15 to 20 acres and not touch it.
okay.
So truly, the concepts, they're going to be organic. They're going to change. But that is the goal right now.
Okay. The lot size,
It ranges from 1/4 of an acre all the way up to over 1/2 an acre for some of them.
okay,
And there's going to be a pretty good mixture of slabs and walkout basements.
okay.
And Brianna, if I can add a little bit with your patience of me. You have been a realtor and an appraiser, is that right?
For far too long.
What is the typical size of a city lot?
A lot of them are less than 2/10 of an acre.
So these would be
These are larger.
roomy lots, and even by subdivision standards, half-acre lots are rare. We would call them estate-sized lots.
That's a big pet peeve for me. I don't want to walk outside and feel like I can go like this and touch my neighbors. I'm never going to push that.
Thank you for let me say that.
Just clarifying questions.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to continue on. What we'll end up doing is, Carla, our attorney, will time questions if we have any. 3 minutes is the time. That's not etched in stone, but we do want to respect everyone's ability to speak. So the next step would be for those who wish to speak in opposition or have questions.
And if I may, just for my own ignorance, you want us to not respond to anything
Correct.
until you close the public meeting, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you very much.
And that we'll do the, both sides of the coin, as you say. And then we'll kind of reference back to you. Comment is drainage. What's that look like?
Okay.
What's your plan? What's your thoughts?
Do you want us to just go in order and see what, I mean, I don't know who, because they haven't indicated here on whether they do or fight, which they're arguing for or against it, but okay.
My
so-
next one is if you wish to have questions or speak in opposition to that, Carla will call your name.
All right, I've got LaTanya Ritchie.
It's me.
I don't know if I said your name
You
correctly.
said it fine.
Okay. All right, opposition?
Opposition.
Okay.
So,
All right, let me get started. Here you go. Give you 3 minutes.
okay. Ready?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Tanya Ritchie. I'm part of Dana Sue Smith Farms LLC. We are located directly east of the property under consideration for rezoning. Our land has been continuously owned and farmed by my family for over 200 years and is recognized as the only bicentennial Hoosier homestead farm in Scott County. Pretty distinct honor there. I'm speaking to express my strong opposition to the proposed change from agriculture to zoning R1 residential zoning. Once agricultural land is rezoned and developed, it is unlikely to ever revert to its original designation. I respectfully urge the board to carefully evaluate both the short and long-term implications of this decision. Indiana lost 345,682 acres of farmland between 2010 and 2022. I would hate to see the statistics from 22 to 25. I'm sure it would be staggering. Beyond the irreversible loss of farmland, I have several concerns regarding the proposed rezoning. Residential saturation. There are already 2 subdivisions, Pigeon Ridge and Bernie Addition, located on the north side of Craig Road. Several of these homes are either vacant or they need repair. They just need a lot of work over there. Is additional housing really necessary in this location? Recently, the county has just approved the building of 300 houses. The subdivision is already under construction. So I feel like we need to get these subdivisions that we've already got approved going. Secondly, infrastructure capacity. Numerous subdivisions have already been approved and are currently under construction throughout Scott County. It would be prudent to allow these projects to reach completion and assess how our emergency services, school systems, and utility infrastructure manage the increased demand before approving further development. My question on this is who's going to be responsible for the roadway in the subdivision? Are the property owners gonna maintain it? Is the county gonna be looked to maintain it? Are they gonna be looked to snowplow it? Any upkeep? That's my one question there. Road conditions. Craig Road's already a miserable mess. It's a chip and seal road. Potholes have come up in the last year. It's become a real problematic over the last year. The road is narrow, frequently used by pedestrians and farm equipment. Increased traffic from new development could comprise both safety and accessibility. Emergency services. Our county's emergency response resources are limited. According to public data, Scott County EMS employs 18 full-time and 20 part-time personnel to serve the entire community. And I know Scottsburg doesn't respond out there, but I was able to get statistics from them. Scottsburg Fire Department includes 8 EMTs and 8 EMRs, approximately 20 volunteer firefighters, with only 4 consistently available for emergency responses. The Fayetta Fire Department, which would take care of this one, is located east of the railroad track. Additional development may necessitate another fire station west of the tracks to ensure timely service. I'm nearly done, like one more paragraph, sure. While a new station is currently under construction in Scottsburg, we might have to expand in Vienna as well. Educational strain. Our schools are already facing overcrowding and financial challenges. If the proposed development brings families with school-age children, how will this district accommodate that growth? And my family is committed to preserving the legacy of our bicentennial farm for future generations. Respectfully ask the board to consider the broader impact this rezoning would have, not only on our farm, but the community's infrastructure, safety, and agricultural heritage. Thank you for your time.
All right, now Teresa Smith.
I'm Teresa Smith, and I live at 391 West Craig Road. So I'm directly next door to the property that they're discussing tonight. First off, I'd just like to say thank you for everybody that's come out tonight to support this and for the best interest in Scott County. As a homeowner next door to the subject property, I'll say that my family and I are still not in favor of farmland turning into a subdivision. As it's been stated, once it goes into that subdivision, it will never be back into farmland. I strongly encourage the board to consider how their decision and their vote tonight on this rezoning request will affect not only this piece of property, but surrounding properties. I'd like to ask the board, are you all aware of the property development going on Lovers Lane and Vienna Road, which again has already been stated tonight, I'm sure you're all aware. 307 lots already approved. And again, this is probably, as we said earlier, beating a dead horse, repeating, but 307 homes or lots have already been approved. In addition to the stuff that's going on Moonlow, there's other areas, east, west, south town, every place that have already got approval for things going on. Do we have enough resources in this county to handle all this development at once? You might be able to, turn some farmland into these subdivisions and make roads through them or whatever, but how many Highway 31s are you gonna be able to put in? When 65 and all the traffic that it gets between Louisville and Indy, there's accident after accident on 65. Where does that traffic go to? It comes over to 31, right? We can't put another Highway 31 in, okay? Where are you gonna put it? You're gonna put all these houses in. How are you gonna have room for people to get around and get through? It's already a nightmare when something happens out on the interstate on 31 to get through town safely, all the accidents that happen. And then you're gonna bring all this, additional housing in. Okay, so we've already approved 307 lots to put more housing on. Fine, let's see how that goes, okay? Let's see how our schools can handle it. Let's see, because we might be able to build another school, but it's not gonna be right away. Do we really need to mess up some more farm ground? I don't think so, not right now. I don't think this is the time in this county to take away more farm ground. Enough's been given up. I think there's enough places already happening that you, the board, have this in your control tonight, whether you wanna rezone this or not. And I think if you're on this board, why are you on it? Ask yourself, why are you on the board? Are you on the board for the good of Scott County or for the good of yourself? If you're on it for this county, think and take into consideration what you may be about ready to approve. Once it goes into a subdivision, it's not gonna go back to farm ground, okay? Somebody's gotta put food on your table. Craig Road is not wide enough for farm equipment and vehicles to pass safely. I can tell you this past week, the combine went down Craig Road and it was difficult for one of the people living on that road to get past safely, past the combine. Okay, so we're gonna widen that road? Probably not. We have issues, we had a tree over the road 2 weeks ago. Called county, called at 4 AM for the sheriff's department, somebody sent somebody out. Somebody from the county come out to cut it, it's barely pushed over the cut up tree to the edge of the road. You know, it's in the ditch. There's just not
That's
room.
fine. Are you almost
Very
finished?
close, very
Okay.
close. So, yes, as it was stated earlier, there is already a house put on the property in question. A year ago, there was a pole barn type home with living quarters put there. And then this spring, there's a house that's been built there. The house that's been put there this spring has, it looks like up to code. Hopefully somebody's checking everything. Looks like there was a culvert put in last week. But the original living quarters and home that was put on that property still does not have a culvert. Who's managing that? Because I can tell you, as someone that put in a new driveway in the fall of 2024, I know what the standard is. I know what standard I was held to. So I don't understand why we're not upholding that. So let's look at the track record there. Let's make sure the good intentions. And the other thing is in their packet, they said they were going to, they've got a contractor, that's somebody with a farm that's gonna farm part of it. They're in a 3-year contract. So there's no reason to be in a rush tonight to rezone that. Let them go ahead as they legally can without this board's permission, parcel off that ground up front, build 3 or 4 more houses. They've already got the lots ready. They're in the process of doing what they want to do there to get those houses set up. Let them build those houses, see how successful they are at selling those, and keep on farming that back part with their person that they have for the 3 years. And then we'll go from there. We can always revisit the rezone issue.
Okay, thank you. And I just want to clarify, tonight there will be no decision on rezoning. This board does not change the rezone. This board only makes a recommendation to the commissioners. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. So there's another meeting you'll need to go to in the commissioners, okay? Thank you.
Just to clarify what I said, I guess, to make sure I understand, but at the beginning, I thought Mr. Green stated that it took 5 to recommend a pass or not pass.
We don't pass, that's right. It's just whether,
Okay, so, pardon me then, I backtrack, not to vote against the rezone, but to recommend not to rezone.
Yeah. So, yeah, just want to make sure that, yeah, everybody's on the same page on that. Okay. Now we have Dan Smith.
Thank you all for being here and hearing our story. And I think there's probably some people here that in the audience that are for the rezoning. You know, I'm kind of repeating what Teresa and Tanya said about leaving it like it is, because you still got, with the reduction of the acreage where it went from 2 to 1, you've got opportunity to put houses on there. Let's see how that works. I'd assume they built a real nice pond from the road and things that looks real nice. The attorney here, I think, will be interested in this. And this is Google, so this is what they say. Attractive nuisance doctrine. Attractive nuisance is a dangerous condition on a landowner's property that may practically attract children onto the land and pose a risk to their safety. In tort law, the attractive nuisance doctrine imposes a duty on property owners to treat trespassing children the same as an entry. And as a result, must exercise reasonable care to eliminate potential dangers or provide adequate warning. The Supreme Court of Texas has explained in Texas Utilities Electric Company versus Timmons 1997 that the attractive nuisance doctrine applies when an unusual, interesting object effectively invites young children onto a property, treating them as invitees rather than trespassers. However, because the doctrine can significantly burden property owners, it is a narrowly applied and typically excludes common features like walls, fences, or gates. If you don't realize, children from these houses, the more of them, say 6 to 10, 12-year-olds, they like to swim. I think maybe it's already been swimming. I don't know. But anyway, they'll get there. And I guess you can say, well, I've got a pond on my farm. The boundary fence has got electric wire in it. The fence around the pond's got 2 electric wires. Yes, kids can get through it if they want to, with no visible sounds. You're inviting a lawsuit. Lawyers are gonna love you. If this happens, if a child drowns or whatever. Good example was New Albany. They had a creek down there that a young person drowned in. They're revising all that, because they don't want to take the chance of this happening again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And finally, we have Sharon Schmittler.
Yes, I live at 392 West Pride Road. And first of all, I'd like to say, in your rules, you state that the property owner is responsible to notify people and neighbors within 250 feet. I am within 250 feet of the property, and I was not sent notice. The only reason I know about it is through Facebook and my neighbors. Another thing, like Teresa stated, that road is not wide enough. It is very narrow, and we have lived out there for over 30 years. And we have seen many cars off in deep ditches out there. Because 2 cars are barely able to pass. We have seen cars in them ditches, I don't know how many times. And the road is horribly maintained. It hasn't been repaved since it was originally repaved. And the road in front of this property they're discussing tonight is tore up because of the sewer things. I guess they're still working on it. But the road in front of my house is caving in. And there's other parts of the road that are really in bad shape too. And then the culverts under the driveway. We asked about this the last time this came in question. And they said it was just temporary. The highway department told us it was just temporary. That they would put a culvert in it after they got done with the heavy equipment. Well, there are culverts that can handle heavy equipment. And how long is just temporary? I know that Teresa Smith and her husband Brett, they put a culvert under their driveway. They bring tractors in there, combines, semi-trucks. It can handle it. Why can't they put one under their driveway? No, instead of the temporary driveway getting a culvert put in it, they made it even wider without a culvert. How long before things start flooding and all this? We live on a dead end road. That road floods, we're stuck. And as far as the farms land's concerned, yes, we need farms to put food on our tables. But we also need the farms and the woodlands for oxygen. No wonder people like my husband here who has COPD real bad, no wonder they're having all these breathing problems. You take away the trees, the plants, the greenland, you're gonna have air quality problems. I don't think we need it in this county. And he was, the attorney mentioned city lots. We are not in the city.
Yeah.
We are in the county. We are not in the city.
Can I ask you, since you weren't, where are you located in relation to this, your address?
We're right past it.
Do you have the map, John?
I will show you, I am within 250 feet. And then his brother lives next door to us and he didn't get a notice either.
They were,
Now, they say
On
he's
the
like
list.
right on the border, but I think since it's a dead end road, he should have got a notice too.
Are you on the north side of Craig Road?
yes.
I'm on the west side of Craig Road. Yeah, north side,
And just,
You're part of the
west
Bernie
of their
Edition.
property.
no, they're on Craig Road.
Here, if I can get through here, I'll show you. And she swore an oath that she, notified people, interested people, but,
John,
sorry.
this is the Smiths. They're like right there.
I am right here,
This is,
right here, where the red is.
here's what,
Which side?
I've lost it. Here's what we're talking about.
A little less than a half acre.
Smith. This is right there.
So the list to notify does come from that. It doesn't say she's on the list. I don't know. I think it was just kind of a gray area whether she was a 250, but that,
I
Is
am
it-
in.
so, but I just want to say that was not, she kept that list.
And my brother-in-law, like I said, he's like on the border of it,
I didn't.
but since it's a dead-end road, I still think he had a right to be notified.
Travels up and down. That's that place.
I think the border actually goes on to his property.
Thank you. Do we have any other
Yes.
audience attendees who wish to speak in opposition or have questions?
Well, I just wanted to say that,
If you would, just state your name.
my name is Sandy Rose, and I live on, 580 West Collins Road. And we have an awful lot of traffic out there now. And this would just be destroying our area. We have like 23 and a half acres out there. It would end up, traffic would just be horrendous. And you talk about bad road on Craig Road, how about, South Lake Road? It's terrible. 2 cars can't pass on that road. But that one of them's almost going off in the ditch. It's not wide enough for 2 cars. And a lot of times there's farm equipment on the road or people, maintenance workers working on the road or the electric, company working on the road, and it's really dangerous. But you put a lot of houses out there, it's gonna run our neighborhood. It's gonna ruin the looks of the place. I can't imagine the traffic that's gonna be out there though. It's just you're gonna have to put an on and off ramp to 65 right there at Vienna if you're gonna put that many houses out there, because the roadways won't be able to handle it all.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
My name is BJ Brandenburg. I live in Vienna, represent the Vienna Crown Group, and there are members here in attendance. A procedural question that may have been answered, but I couldn't hear from the lady before, the other lady. How many certified letters were sent out, and how many were returned in opposition, and how many in favor? That may come up later, and I'll hold my question, but I'd like to have that answered, please. Thank you.
Yeah, you can go ahead and, I mean, we do.
No, 14 names was given to, for neighbors. 2 responses was sent back in opposition. And that's the only returns I received.
2 in opposition were all that were returned, and how many were sent out, please?
14.
14, and only 2 responded. Okay, thank you.
Now, I did turn in a packet to you all.
That's including that.
Yes, that's including that one, yes.
Why there should not, all other reasons why there should not be.
I didn't turn anything in there.
But I wanted to make sure you all get a copy of that as well.
Do we have any additional comments, concerns? Okay, anyone wish to speak in favor of this? Let the record reflect we have none. I'm gonna close the public portion of this meeting and kind of refocus. Kind of start down here. Any questions from members of the board? I have a few. If you want me to kick them off, that'd be fine.
Do you want us to pass these letters around, that we did, responses that we received?
Yes.
They're in.
Oh, they're in there, never mind, why do I keep saying that? They're in that packet, yes, you got those, okay.
Stacy already took care of it. I guess, Gary, maybe if I might start,
Feel free.
Carla and Stacy, if I might start, looking at the March of 2024, when they first brought it, there were 18 persons on the mailing list, and this time there were only 14. So Michael and Sharon Smittler were one of those, Tommy Smittler, Joshua Coleman, and Brian and Sherry Tyree were the 4 that were not on this mailing. And I guess that was gonna be my question, if they were within or considered within the 250 feet in March of 24, why they shouldn't have been considered now.
I don't know, that Marty gave those lists, I think at the time. They looked those up in the auditor's office to look that up. I mean, I personally didn't look it up to send
Okay.
it there, but
So do the applicants provide the mailing list, or do they get
No,
looked
that
up in
gets-
here?
from here, they're responsible for the actual mailing, but the list comes from the auditor's office.
All right,
I was told after the fact that there's a calculation on the map. I didn't.
okay,
I'm just the intern, so I did the best I could.
okay. I mean, that answers that question.
According to the rules, though, it says the applicant is responsible for distributing written notices for petitions to all owners of property within 250 feet. It says the applicants are responsible.
Yes, they're responsible for the mailing. They get the names from the auditor's office, but they are responsible for mailing it out themselves and providing them.
I would think that you probably get it from that area.
Mhm. So I guess the answer, so folks know, is that we had someone different in March of 24.
We did.
And now, again, Stacy kind of being the interim, stepping in here and first time doing it.
Yes.
And I didn't have any of her records.
Right.
And I also think, just speaking off the top of my head, Tom, and you might correct me, when we were looking at March 20, whatever it was, we were looking at the entire property, weren't we?
Yes.
This, we're looking at kind of the northern edge. I don't know if that makes,
It's still the same total 71 acres they're requesting to be rezoned. But actually, there was very little change from the packet we received first to now.
okay.
And I guess the comment that jumps out at me, and I didn't highlight it here, I'm sorry. But talking about wanting to put in like 1,000 feet of arborvitae on the east and west side of the property, kind of as a screening.
Yeah.
And it stated back at that point that you were under contract to do that. Yeah, additionally, as a courtesy to our future neighbors, we are currently under contract for the installation of no less than 1,000 feet of arborvitae trees, so 250 trees at 7 feet tall, extending down both the east and the west property lines to create a natural, beautiful barrier of trees. So I guess you just didn't put them in then because it wasn't
Well,
approved?
it would be counterproductive to do it now because once we start disturbing the ground, it would kill them. So we need to get further down the road of development infrastructure installed
Okay,
before, otherwise it would just be a waste of money.
okay.
Typically, I think landscaping is part of the planning process, and that would be
It's one of
something
the
that would be
later phases.
reviewed and approved by you folks before it got done.
Okay.
And my other question, Tom, you finished, or I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
could make another comment, but I
this
better not.
free range, the road, Craig Road, let's start there. That's, I got here in 78, it was that configuration then, wasn't it?
Yes, I don't think it's ever been what.
How wide is it?
I measured it 17 foot 4 inches.
It varies in spots.
Which South Lake Road is 16.
South Lake Road is 16 foot.
It's
I mean,
16
it's, I measured several roads around the county because I wanted to know. I don't know what the standard is, if there is a standard, there's not a standard. But, like South Lake Road, which is a major thoroughfare, is 16.4. This thing, where I measured it 2 different places, up and down the road. I got 17.4 average. At that point in time, I'll just tell everyone, Mr. Smith back there was coming home from work in his 5-ton utility truck, and we passed each other. Neither one of us got out of the road, neither one of us slowed down. Is that true or not?
Mine right here on the grass.
It's kind of a joke.
I had an issue 2 weeks before that with combine, so neighbors, so.
Any road in this county with the size of combines now is an issue.
Mine's
But at the
16
bottom of
foot
the hill, it's real narrow.
That's,
So it's,
I did measure it because I thought, is this road narrower than other roads around? And it looks like to me they range, most of the roads in the county range between 16 and 19 feet.
so it's average then.
This one's 17.4.
It's average then.
Anyone can measure it yourself.
The other question I have, once the subdivision, if whatever, the roads maintenance in the subdivision, who's that on? Property owner?
What was the question?
The road is inside the subdivision.
Do
The
they
roads
adopt
inside
that?
the subdivision
Once
would be,
it's met, do they turn it over to the county?
they have to, current laws is they would have to bring it up to county codes, and then the county could take it over at that point, yes.
Is there a time period though? Is there a 2-year time period?
I can't remember the time period, actually. I mean, if the road was built, up to standard, which, and I gotta be honest with you guys, I've seen those standards, and the roads we have now are not built to those standards. So I'm just gonna throw that out there, then it ain't got nothing to do with this, but, I will say that if the road is built up to what the standard calls for, the county can take it over, yes.
Any other questions, anybody? Tom, you got any additional? John, anybody? Additional questions? Okay. Let me fire through some more things here. Utilities exist, correct?
Correct.
On site.
On site. Those utilities include electrical,
They do.
sewage,
They do.
and.
Gas, fiber optic, and water.
Okay. So there's no, other than expanding, I mean, there's no major installation that needs to happen.
No, sir.
Okay. I used to work for the school corporation. I can't speak for them as far as school-age children. I just know that it seems like everybody's competing for kids. Let me ask one more question. So Craig Road, one way in, one way out. The road into the subdivision might be different because the standards of the subdivision road might be different than Craig Road. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that the standard in which you have to build a road for the county to take it over
Okay,
would be a higher standard than what the roads that most people are traveling down now.
okay. That answers the question. Anyone else? Don't you look at me, you got any questions?
I think so.
At this point, what? Okay. Part of, I think the point what is made is, and brought up, is something I think, this is a philosophical, it's not a question, it's a judgment call that we'll all have to make. But affordable housing is different in a lot of counties. You know, when I worked for Clark County before my back surgery, I worked extensively with the homeless and homeless students, homeless parents. Did a lot of time in shelters and things like that. And the idea that you have 500 apartments is great. But if they're all at $2,000 a month, nobody can afford it. You know, so my spin on that might be affordable housing might be a little bit different when it comes to somebody that's a little closer to the poverty line, based upon my experience. But in order to have any housing crisis, you gotta have housing. Averted, you gotta have housing to be there. So it's just a philosophical conversation. I'll take a motion to approve. Again, the motion will be, the first one will be to approve. If we need to, the second motion will be to disapprove. And the third motion will be to forward.
Recommend, I should
Yeah.
say, we've
Neutral.
been confusing with the approval since we're not approving it or, yeah.
And if we have a motion that passes, I'm gonna pause it for any further discussion at that point. So, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve it as written.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we're gonna pause for a second. The motion in front of us is to approve this request. Anybody have any additional questions? Tom, anybody have additional questions that want to bring forward? Okay. Can you run a roll call vote?
Sorry.
Can you run a roll call vote?
We need to recognize the second.
Oh, you recognize the second right here.
Yeah, we're gonna do it right in a second.
Let me go ahead and finish that. All those in favor of taking us to a vote signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, let's do a roll call vote for the approval. An answer yes means that this passes. An answer no means it does not pass.
Recommends.
Right.
Yeah, be careful, we're not passing or approving, it's recommending, or we're going to recommend to the board, or to the commissioners.
You need this?
Do you want me to just go down this?
Yeah.
Okay. Randy Julian,
Yes.
Jonathan White.
Yeah.
Mark Gardner, never mind, Tom Sprungston,
No.
Gary Green,
Yes.
John Hauser,
Yes.
Matt Oberles,
Yes.
Andrew Boswell.
Yes.
And we have one vacancy, is that correct? How many yes votes?
6,
Minimum 5 is needed.
correct.
So this is passed.
It has, yes, so that means the board recommends,
To
the
the-
rezoning to the commissioners. And I guess we probably technically should kind of have some findings of fact. I don't know if you want to state those, if anybody wants to state as to why they think that's maybe help the commissioners with their decision.
I put things in.
Unless we just want to go through the things, if you want to So do we have to do anything on that one rezoning? But yeah,
No.
I mean, technically, I think we were supposed to have some findings of fact as why we made the decision that the board made. So,
Carl, I can speak for myself. I was not here in March of '24. So I tried to do quite a bit of research outside of this meeting to educate myself on the project, the pluses, the minuses. And, as somebody said, you gotta ask yourself why you're on this board. And I heard a lot of reasons by the presenter of what it was good and then some of the negatives. And, I asked myself that same question of, why was I on this board? And it's, sometimes you gotta make tough decisions of what's best for the county. And when I looked at that property and listened, yes, I think there's some very valid concerns. It would appear that, somebody mentioned the pond. If you think about drainage, there's other checks and balances in place that this project will also have to pass. But as we thought about, is this the proper location for this type? And given the location and the utilities, that are on site compared to other ones, and conservation of farmland, that's something that's near and dear to my heart as well. But just in my less than 1 year on the board, we've had multiple requests to build new homes or to zoning requests, additional splits. So it appears to me that there is significant need for these homes within the county. And if there's an opportunity to concentrate them in an area where there's significant or excess utilities, that's why I personally voted yes. No, is that what I wanted to vote for? Yes or no? But as far as what my role on this board is for, it seemed apparent to me that property does support what they're requesting to do.
anybody else?
Same thing. I've done my homework. I try to take these things seriously. I was put on the board probably 9 years ago with the directive of responsible growth of Scott County. And I always try to keep that in mind. I looked up our growth numbers from the last census. Between 2010 and 2022, Scott County grew 1.7%. The state of Indiana average was 5.3%. We're growing at a rate a third of the other counties around us. This is all U.S. Census, USAFacts.org. You can look them up. But the alarming thing that I see in this is that our 65 plus group was the fastest growth. It increased 29.5% in our county. The 35 to 49 age group was the most declined in our county, 14.5% between 2010 and 2022. And if you go on down, the birth rates decreased 6.1, but that's because we don't have the young people in this county. We are quickly growing to an aging population in our county. We're not keeping the young people here. We're not having the births in the county that we need. We're growing at a third of the rate that the rest of the state is. And that's why I feel that we need these homes. People talk about there's 1,000 homes proposed to be built now on all these things, or close to it, 800, 900, 1,000. If those get built in the next 10 years, that will only keep us, that will not even get us to where we need to be to maintain our place in the state. These services that we all need, as far as the roads being fixed, the sheriff's department being able to put enough officers on there to cover our schools. Our schools will take care of themselves. The schools get paid for every student that's in there. If we get 200 new students, the state takes care of that and gives our schools the money to do that. That's out of our hands, and that's controlled by the state. When we lose students, that's where we have a problem of keeping our teachers employed, and that's what some has happened. But I feel it's my job to try to get us closer to what the rest of the state is growing. And that's what I think. But 1,000 new homes sounds like a lot, but at 3.25 people per home, I think that's about the range. that only raises our population 3,200 in the next 10 years. That barely keeps us at where we need to be if we get all those homes built and filled. That's why I vote the way I do on these boards.
Anybody else? Or Tom, do you want to?
Yeah,
To
I
say
guess-
your piece while you
Sure.
disagree?
Yeah, I guess since I was the only no vote, I mean, I'm like Matt and thought a lot about it. And on paper, to me, yes, this looks like it should be the perfect place. All the utilities and such are there. Yes, there's other more narrow roads, but I guess I go more by, and again, it's, I don't know, economics and businesses, but it seems like there are a lot of homes getting built. And that'd be for them to make that gamble if you want to build more and then not get them sold or something. But my thought is maybe it would be also lesser valued homes or something that wouldn't be as desirable. But again, that's not a good assumption or something to make. But I guess I was going more by residents around not being the ones. And again, there's already subdivisions there that maybe aren't being maintained or homes getting sold either, so. But again, it's not our decision, it'll be the commissioners to decide.
So I'll take a crack at it. For me, it's, and most of you guys, I know that you're not hearing a lot of what's going on, but, just because we're small doesn't mean that we don't need the same amount of resources to run this county as any other county would need. You still got to have healthcare. You still got to have ambulances. You still got to have police people, police, and all these services that goes into this. When your taxes do not go up, it's just like you guys when you don't ever get raises. The county stays the same. Our employees ain't getting their raises. They're going someplace else to work because we don't have enough money to pay them. So the only way to offset that is to raise taxes. All right, now when you raise taxes, that means, if the more houses you have in that tax base, the lower your taxes are. Not the more taxes that the county receives. It goes off area. It does not go off of the amount of people paying taxes. So the more houses brought in, the less you're going to have to pay in taxes eventually. It takes a little while for that to come down.
The more houses you add, the more the state places a levy on you, where if they try to bring the property taxes down. So, because even Mike Jones in one of the meetings stated that adding more houses does not add more tax.
No, ma'am, that's not right. I'm sorry. I'm not going to argue with you. It's just, it's not right. And maybe Mike was misunderstood. That's the only thing I can say, because me and Mike has had long conversations about this too.
Yeah, well, he stated
So,
it in a meeting.
All right, thank you for your comment. But anyway,
They're never gonna stay here because there's nothing here for them.
look, we're not going to go back and forth here. We gave you guys your chance to talk. So I'm sorry.
But that's why. we stay here. We don't need that.
Okay, go ahead, feel free to leave. Again, guys, I understand the need for people that don't want to see farm ground go to subdivisions. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. If the property goes up for sale and you own a farm, you want to buy it, you need to buy it. This is America. This is America. People have a right to buy property, people have a right to sell property, and people have a right on their property to build what they want. I mean, as long as they're not hurting other people. And that's where I stand, and that's why I'm voting for. Thank you.
Any additional comments from anyone? Has there been a change with you? Or you didn't, what was the email?
About Jonathan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, Jonathan.
Have you changed Who you represent,
No, I'm still council appointed.
okay,
That'll probably change next month.
okay. All right, good enough. I just didn't follow that. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Can are we gonna meet in November to discuss ordinances or anything?
Yeah, let's go ahead and have our normal, I think so, yeah, let's go ahead and have our normal, whether we've had any business or not, we try to take care of those loose ends.
Take care of what you said.
And then I also want to, maybe we could officially make a request to the commissioners to appoint someone else that, make it, we'll just make it official, that we make advertising. I know. Yeah.
There's two things that I kind of want to keep hot to the fire. One of those is,
Yes.
So it'd be November the 12th. November 12th is the second Wednesday, the 12th.
Other board is meeting at 6.
Okay.
Okay, so
We'll
we'll
be
do
at
6:30.
6:30.
Can we do earlier?
Well, I don't think we can until we would change something. I do notice that the
thank y'all.
website isn't real.
Thank you. I apologize for